Thank you for watching this rather unusual video. The subject matter is really focusing on the spiritual life, but more importantly embracing the Yin and Yang Syndrome or concept. Many of you will know that Yin and Yang, pronounced Yong as in gong, is one of the most fundamental concepts in traditional Chinese medicine, as it is the foundation of diagnosis and treatment. The earliest reference to Yin and Yang is in the I Ching Book of Changes, in approximately 700 years before Christ. In this book, all phenomena are said to be reduced to Yin and Yang. Excuse me. But let us just look at a few examples of Yin. Some of the translations would imply that female, passive, negative, principle in nature, are part of Yin, as is the moon, shaded orientation, north or shady side of a hill, south of a river. And for Yang, some of the translations would refer to positive, active, male, principle in nature, south or sunny side of a hill, north of a river. So Yin being negative and Yang being positive. One would ask, what has this got to do with the spiritual life? What has this got to do with working with Gaia, the mother goddess of the earth, and the father mother god of the solar galaxies? Very simply, Yin and Yang, light, dark, day, night, good, evil. The principles can be referred to all examples, such as the recent event in the Philippines, where many lives were lost, and where the survivors, their only sole possession was what they stood in. A negative experience that catapulted the children of God into an Armageddon type experience. But the Yang positive side of that was that it touched many hearts to give and support this beautiful people. And here in the United Kingdom, it gives me a real sense of pride, gratitude, and an overwhelming sense of what a beautiful country we live in. We're only a small country, and yet in 2 weeks we raised, wait for it, £57 million in 2 weeks. And in the same 2 weeks we had the Children in Need that raised £32 million. And though we're hit by a recession, yes, many people are struggling, but the ordinary people found it in their heart to give to their last penny. And it's the same with tragedies. Last evening I watched a program that showed you a little of the life of Father Reed, a Catholic priest known to many in Northern Ireland and in the peace movement as being an extraordinary man. He passed away at the early age, in his 80s, but young and fit. But he was seen in the midst of all the troubles, leaning over a wounded soldier who was dying to give him the last rites. A Yin experience. And he watched the youths attack another soldier and almost kick him to death. And this woman says, serves them right. And he turned round and said, but that was some mother's son. Profound. So you had a yin situation of negativity and evil, and a yang response of positivity. And Father Reid went on to initiate the peace process, the Good Friday Agreement. It wasn't the politicians. They argued, of course, the legal side of the law, but it was he who initiated it. And wherever there's a major disaster or calamity in the world affecting God's children, a yin experience where the face of evil is shown, as in the times when Hitler's men caught prisoners of war and they would beat them senselessly, and you could see the face of evil coming from closed hearts as they inflicted the most awful punishment on those prisoners. And the extermination camps, a yin experience, the face of evil. But then came the liberation, a yang experience. And so it is for you and me. Each day we encounter a yin or yang experience. We might be merrily, happily living a simple life in service to God, going about our Father, Mother, God's business, whether it's washing up, walking the dogs, offering a listening ear to a troubled soul. And then out of the blue, it's as if you're kicked in your solar plexus, where you receive bad news. A yin experience. But a yang experience follows, because someone will ring you and ask, how are you? So there's always a counterbalance. But we have to initiate that balance. We have the power to come out of a yin experience, a yin experience of negativity, deep sadness, where negative forces are at play. And by asking God for help, we're given a yang response. We're given the help and the support that we need. So yin and yang together are interdependent. They work together as complementary opposites, as does nature. Nature has both yin and yang, as does human form. The animal kingdom, yin and yang. Our prayer life has yin and yang. 1 minute you're down in the gutter, in the dumps, you're dry, you can't pray, your heart is closed, you're upset, worried, anxious, fearful. A yin experience. Then suddenly you have a breakthrough. Some sunlight comes into your prayer room, and you hear that inner voice saying, come to me, all you who labour and are heavily burdened, and I will give you rest. A yang experience. So what was given 700 years before Christ in the I Ching Book of Changes is very much a part of our everyday living, and also on the spiritual path to God, to Nirvana. And it's not just for Christians, it's for all faiths. Because you and I encounter both experiences in our daily life. So the Yin Yang Syndrome is a journey. And it's always good to know what they both represent. Light, dark, the opposing forces that hit us both every day. And we're not exempt from yin experiences, even as a monastic, because we encounter the face of evil in the stories that are shared with us. But we can offer a yang response by lightening their load, by offering compassion. And at the moment in the world it would appear that there's more yin influence than yang. But trust me, behind the scenes there are a lot of men and women who live selfless lives. Like the brothers and sisters in the Teo community, ordinary men and women of different faiths and none, who live a simple life and who dedicate their life for peace, a yang experience. So where there's war and pain and suffering, there is also another force for goodness, where people are trying to act as peacemakers, negotiating for peace and an end to violence. And there are those of us like myself who behind our monastery walls dedicate our lives to God for peace. And we never lose heart. Even though our day might be primarily made up of yin experience, sadness, negativity, but there's always a sunrise, and we have to wait patiently for that so that we can encounter a yang experience and bring yin and yang together, not as opposing forces but as complementary forces. Be at peace in your heart. Be at peace and embrace negativity with positivity. Regarding evil, never confront evil with evil. Confront it with love. For the great Buddha Dhammapada said, hate is not overcome by hate. Hate is overcome by love. Thank you for listening. God bless you.